The biggest enemy for human beings and entrepreneurs is entropy. And every system tends towards entropy. Entropy is at a purely physics and mathematical level, it's just randomness in a system. So it's the opposite of any kind of order. So, for example, if the average person, let's say, they don't have a clear set of values around food and they can eat anything at any point based on how they feel. And let's say they don't have an identity around being a carnivore or a vegan or whatever. So there's no constraints on their choices in that area of their life. They're going to experience a lot of entropy. They'll eat emotionally. Someone's, hey, do you want to go out to get pizza? And they'll be, yeah, why not? So there's going to be a lot of randomness or chaos
Okay.
in decision making. And that's fine. But typically, if someone has certain goals, certain values, certain desires, entropy will always oppose that. So even in a business, what happens is that most of the time when the business isn't growing, it's because there's too much entropy. So as the business grows, we need to standardize more, we need more SOPs, processes.
Yep.
Otherwise, we can't hand things off. So what happens is that because there's too much organizational entropy, the business literally cannot digest more growth. So that becomes a ceiling on growth. So what we have to do is we got to look at the entire value chain and say, okay, where's their entropy that we're not managing? Maybe it's in marketing. Maybe there's so many unknowns. People are just throwing spaghetti on the wall and they don't know the numbers. They're not tracking anything. There's no attribution. They're just spending money.
Mm-hmm.
Results are all over the place. So we look at that and we say, okay, how do we reduce the amount of entropy here? And if we reduce the amount of entropy, we do that by creating more certainty and order. So the sort of framework we created last time around acquisition, ascension, retention, that's one way. Okay, now we have one value chain in marketing. We need an engine for this. We need an engine for this. We need an engine for this. We're going to use this agency for this. They're going to give us KPIs and they have clear parameters they need to work around. Now, where there was chaos, we've created order. We've decreased entropy. When we decrease entropy, there's more predictability, there's more safety, because now you're not just hoping that people will do what they're supposed to. And there's more stability. And the key thing here, there's more repeatability. So scaling happens primarily based on our ability to repeat outcomes. So the more components we add to a system, the lower the reliability of the system. So some growth in terms of personnel is inevitable as we grow, but we have to offset that as much as possible. So this is one of the core philosophies actually of this work, where we can apply this obviously to personal life too, because if you have a value around relationship with your son and it's up to I'll make time, I'll plan some stuff, then we introduce randomness into the equation. And the thing is that for most people, particularly entrepreneurs, the way our brain is wired, we overvalue urgent stuff and we never actually get to the important stuff. So the urgent will always overshadow the important. So we
Mm-hmm.
never actually get to the place where we can address the things that are important before they become urgent crises. So what happens is that we become very reactive, and then the thing that's important, unless it's urgent, doesn't get our attention. And so we end up fighting a lot of fires. So by
Yep.
creating a little bit of structure and saying, okay, not just in business, even in life, what are the things that are important? How do we create a system around this? What are the KPIs? This process basically lets you lock into that every single day in the morning in terms of what you're orienting towards. And in the evening, you review what happened and what didn't happen. And then you set intentions for what you're going to do differently the next day. So the feedback loop is daily and also weekly, monthly, and quarterly. And so what that does is it reduces the time to make a course correction.